Pip Utton, welcome to Adelaide, your first trip. What are your first impressions now that you've just got off the plane?
It's sunshine. That's the first impression, because it was deepest, darkest February when I left. It's a really interesting city because there's an incredible mix of old and new buildings to walk around and look at. But everybody's very friendly. I popped into a gents outfitters this afternoon and was kept there for nearly 40 minutes being told the best places to go and eat, the best places to go and find wine, the best places to go and just relax.
It's also much more expensive here for you than it would have been in recent years.
Yes, yes. I was over about 8 years ago and things have changed dramatically.
Now you're taking on the role of the most hated man in all of history,
Yep.
in Adolf, in your plays here, your performances here. Why have you taken that on?
Well, the play is an anti-racist, anti-prejudice, anti-intolerance piece, and I decided when I was writing it that if you're going to do a piece like that, you might just as well pick the biggest racist, intolerant, most prejudiced man in history, and so that's what I did, and I hold him up as an example of how these prejudices can be exploited and how he exploited them in order to take the German people off on an evil campaign and crusade, and he's instantly recognisable. Cynically, I could say that you do a play called Adolf and put a picture of me looking like Adolf Hitler on and you sell tickets. But it wasn't the first thought when I think that's just as it happens.
Now, I understand that in playing this role, you've also had personal threats against you, and people have walked out of the theatre and all those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. What were your reactions to those sorts of experiences?
Well, my first reaction is one of bewilderment, really, because it's the majority of places that I play, I've actually been seen before by the theatre director or by the festival director or by a producer. And they've seen me somewhere in the world and they've seen the play and they invite me to their theatre or they invite me to their festival. And something happens when certain members of the audience forget that they're watching a piece of theatre that has been all the way around the world, it sounds conceited, but it's won awards all the way around the world. They forget that, and suddenly I have no idea what happens to their mindset. They feel the need to walk out. I mean, they come to see a play that's got a picture of me as Adolf Hitler. It says it's Adolf. And then they get upset because there are some racist remarks in it. Now, he wasn't exactly a pussycat, was he? He's a nasty bastard, so...
Now, you're a late starter in the acting game,
Yep.
and a gemologist?
Yep.
In advance, what's a gemologist?
I qualified as a gemologist. I started off in the jewellery trade as a watchmaker, and I was a terrible watchmaker. I was an even worse clock repairer, but then I enjoyed the trade and I studied gems, and I ended up identifying and valuing precious stones and gems so that I could tell the fake from the real, and I could do their values for insurance purposes and for replacement purposes and for probate. And I was quite good at that. I wasn't brilliant, but I was quite good.
And so how long had it been that you had the latent desire to be an actor before it was given full flight?
Oh, for years and years and years, I think I've always wanted to be an actor. And never really had the courage or determination to do anything about it. And so I spent 25 years as a jeweller, and then decided if I didn't do it now, I would never do it. And I didn't want to get sort of that much further on in my life and regret not having given it a go. So my wife and I had a long talk about it, and we said we'll give it a couple of years and see how it goes. And we're still giving it a couple of years, 14 years later.
Mm. Now, a lot of the parts you play are in what might be described as monodramas.
Yep.
Why do they particularly appeal to you?
I enjoy that direct contact with an audience that you can't get if you're in a cast, because the cast have to speak to each other. When I do my monodramas, I can speak directly to the audience. I can tell them what I think they are, and it's a conceit of theatre that actually the audience take that on board and they become what I tell them they are. They become that body of people that I say I'm talking to. And you can you can appear to look each member of the audience in the eye and talk directly to them. And I think that gives a dynamic that you don't get even in other stage performances. That immediacy between performer and audience.
Beyond the monodrama, what types of works particularly appeal to you as a writer, an actor and producer?
As a performer, and the other work that I do is I do a fair bit of Shakespeare, and it's partly because I think the characters that I've played in Shakespeare actually do get to talk directly to the audience as well, so it suits the style that I seem to have become most comfortable in. I'm not very comfortable in just out and out comedy. I don't think I'm suited to it, and it doesn't work well for me. And I'm obviously not suited to play a romantic lead, so there's pointless me even wanting to, or even dreaming that I'm going to. I quite like to be involved with works that produce a reaction from an audience. Hopefully a positive reaction. I don't want to produce a negative reaction. But I do like works that speak directly to the audience. I've not got involved with TV and film particularly. I don't really enjoy that performance process. Although if anybody's watching and would like to offer me a decent part in film or TV, I would be stupid to refuse it.
I note that Guy Masterson also started off in a completely different area. He in biochemistry, as I recall. He made the switch into the theatre world a lot sooner in life than you. Is that something that you think that's a common bond between you, or what has brought you and Guy together in production and theatre?
The thing that originally brought Guy and I together was the fact that I've no training, and I'm very aware that I've no training. I've not been to drama school, and I've had no formal or informal acting training. And when Guy and I got together to work on Adolf, I was very conscious of the fact that this was perhaps my training, a very concentrated and condensed way of learning as to how having somebody like Guy, who is a consummate performer, actually pass on and push me into performance levels that I probably didn't think that I was capable of reaching. So I think that's a common bond between us. And also Guy is very experienced in this solo performance world, and so I've gained from that.
Now, you mentioned, just touched on the fact that you started late in life, you've had no training, formal training as such as an actor, you've had great success. There's a lot of drama schools and the like out there nowadays. So what's your advice for actors, either young or old, or discovered or still in their latent phase, about a career in acting?
Well, my advice would be to start as soon as you possibly can, and to go to drama school. I think that's incredibly important, but to do it for the right reasons. I think you need to go to drama school because you need to learn what you're going to do with this, with your throat, with your voice, and with your body, how to become centred in the body, and also you need probably to kick out some of the bad habits that you've got. And so I think it's almost imperative to do it. It's also the first step on that networking ladder that is so important to all members of the profession. And so the more advanced the standard of your drama school is, perhaps the higher the level you start your networking at. You're coming at it late in life, you've got all these people who did all of those things, who are pushing you out of the door before you've even got your foot in the door. So I wouldn't advise anybody to. But I would advise anybody just to give it a shot.
Well, we're looking forward to these performances very much. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for coming to Adelaide, and I hope the season goes well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your interest.